Welcome to OverSeasoned.
It's only going to take one take.
I actually kicked him out of the restaurant.
Why?
Gotta bitch to someone.
Gotta bitch to somebody, and I'm good to bitch to.
I thought you were from Spain.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Sí soy.
Gotcha.
Soy chorizo.
Oh, no.
You've gone into Martha Stewart land.
It's good. It's just not live.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's like a scene from Cocoon. Like the sun goes down.
You don't want to get blacklisted.
You know what, Mr. President? Is this what you want?
Welcome to another edition of OverSeasoned, the Reno edition.
The Reno edition. That's correct. It's the...
It snowed a little bit last night. We're getting ready for...
It did.
Up in the mountains.
Huh. Did you guys know that? It snowed? I didn't either.
Yeah, it did. I saw the Mount Rose webcam. It was a little snowy up there.
How-
Not a lot.
how
not
high up
too
is
much
that?
deck. What do I look like?
I don't know. You're
It's
like
up there. You just look at it. It's up
I
on the
feel
hills.
like. I feel like.
How high up is that? What?
Everybody I interact with that's from Reno has some random fact about Reno everywhere we Reno.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
What's your favorite Reno fact so far?
Ah, my favorite Reno fact. The only one I can really remember is that at one point it was the largest gaming city in America.
Cool.
And now
Oh, I learned a fact today.
definitely is not. See? Go ahead. Hit us with the
because
brand new Reno
this
fact.
This hotel we were staying has these little like tidbits, little factoids all on the walls.
Okay.
So that Marilyn Monroe filmed her last movie here. Final movie. I forget what it's called.
It's a fitting end, huh?
Yeah.
Poor Marilyn.
She threw her.
That
She
was
threw
it.
I think she threw a wedding ring in the Truckee River. One of her wedding rings as well.
What?
I think that was a story. Yeah. It used
Don't
to be a
say
thing.
that too
You
loud because
throw
I know
your-
how Reno people are. The moment they hear this,
People have already looked. Somebody found it years ago.
somebody found it?
I don't know.
That's just what they said.
It's not like a real. I think it's like a
prop ring?
Trevi Fountain type of thing. I think it's like a.
Listen, I have a feeling that
Depends on how mad you are.
if Marilyn Monroe threw anything in that river, could be a used Burger King wrapper. I'm pretty sure it has some monetary value on eBay. Somebody wants that, and somebody's willing to pay for it. Wow. You were telling me just recently about your foray into trying to get people to eat things.
Not really. Well, just sneaking something past. I was a little bit cautious because I bought this half a cow like 2 years ago now.
Okay.
And I've been slowly like getting through most of it. Right.
How long is this ago?
I think it was about 2 years ago. About a half of a cow.
Wow.
And it doesn't take up as much space as you think. Like I have one mid-sized drop freezer.
How much is a half of a cow?
How much does it like weigh?
Weigh or cost?
Oh man, I can't remember the stats. I think that it came out to like, I can't quite recall, but I remember it was.
It's in the hundreds, right? That's
The
a couple
total
$100.
cost was like
$400.
It was, I believe, it was over 1,000.
Was it?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. But you have a half of a cow.
I mean,
I'm still eating it. I still have like ground beef burgers from this cow. Like,
listen, just
That's still a lot.
just from the Florida experience I've had over the last year and a half, I've purchased too much Wagyu beef on sale twice. Both times had to grill it the fuck off after some sort of catastrophic event led us to not having electric. So I would never be able to go full cow on a purchase
why not?
because we lose power, and then I'm not going to have refrigeration.
You got to get that
I
thing
know.
I'm trying to get you.
I need a
I'm trying to
generator.
pull up. It's going back so long. I'm trying to pull up.
Don't worry about it.
I'm curious now.
All right, let's see.
Oh, it was $1,600.
I think those are New York
the
prices,
yield
Tony.
was 212 pounds.
Okay. That's
Right?
like $6 a pound, dude.
It cost beef per pound, including processing, was $8.50. Half
Okay.
steer, right? So this makes sense. Of course, it's $8.50 a pound for everything from the ground meat to the
To the
fillet,
nose.
right?
Do you get like some weird cuts in
This
there?
is kind of what I'm getting into.
Get a
I've
little
used
cow
lot of-
ear?
I've used the ribeye. I've used the tenderloin.
Yeah, of
I've
course.
used
That's the first
stuff.
shit you grab.
And it was
That's
pretty
the
cool
good
because you could
shit.
like really detail out like how you wanted things cut down to the thickness of the
Really?
ossobuco and everything. Like super, like I would suggest it for anybody because you could tell them exactly what you want and like this much ground and And it all comes cryoed in like these pound packets. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And frozen on the spot. So
That's pretty
you pick
amazing.
it up frozen, done, goes in your freezer, finito.
I mean, all of it sounds amazing.
Yeah. But now I'm down to like the parts.
Okay.
And you got to figure out how
This
to
is
use
where
them.
the true cooking begins.
Is it? How so?
I feel like it is because you know how they say like all the best dishes are the peasant dishes because you really have to coax the flavors out of things. You actually have
Cover it
to cook.
with
Listen, I've
spices.
even heard Thomas Keller say that like, searing off a piece of salmon, that's fine. Or blanching some asparagus to make sure it's ready. But that the true cooking happens when like things take a long time.
You got to do more to it. You got to add spices. You got to do
Yeah,
stuff.
and, like,
it's not just like grilling it mid-rare.
Does
right?
it not itch some sort of like inner chefness to like do a long braise or
Sure.
I'm wondering.
Of course. I mean, you got the same thing. You do the same.
Yeah,
thing.
but I don't have the patience.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
I don't have the patience anymore either. But
Yeah.
I found the patience really because it gets
Okay.
I tend to like whatever I can put together in a half an hour is dinner. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
For the random weekdays.
Right.
But it's getting colder,
I agree.
and I was cleaning out my back like closet area, and I found a crock pot, and I was
Okay.
looking through the freezer with all the beef, and pulled out a tail.
a crock pot like
Like a crock pot.
after soccer practice crock pot.
Yeah, it's not what you think. It's like they make fancy ones now.
Okay, so you're a fancy crock pot kind
I
of
remember
guy.
I did this project for Crockpot. Must have been 15 something years ago.
Okay.
And I got a Crockpot from them.
Is it this one that you're using?
It's the same one.
Okay, better
And
be.
I
Who
had
buys
to-
more than one?
I had to make souffles in it. I remember there was
What?
like 5 of them, and I was doing this like demo of Crockpot. This was, I don't know, what year was it?
Let's call it 2010.
15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I had to make souffles in a crock pot.
How'd it work
It
out?
worked out very well. I just used the recipe. I didn't have to come up with anything. I just had to
Demo it.
demo it, right? So I feel like, I can't remember what else I had, but there was like a 3-course meal out of a crock pot. So there was like 5 of these, 5 of these, 5 of these, and I had to do it like twice a day for a weekend or something like that.
You fucking Reno people, man. Whoever says shit like that?
Yeah.
That's
it's
fantastic,
possible.
Tony.
It comes out really well. Anyway, so I've seen the crock pot. I'm going through the freezer. I'm finding things that like, I like beef tongue, but I don't know if I can get away with it in the household. Right.
Okay,
So it's been
okay.
still down there. I didn't do it yet. The beef tongue's still down there.
Oh, I want to collaborate on this one though.
On the tongue?
In the future episode, that is
Yeah.
the beef tongue episode.
Okay.
I would love to figure out how to make it so nobody knows it's beef tongue with you. If you'll allow me to.
Sure. Because you would like it too.
Well, just because that's one that I feel like will really, it's a jarring one. For some reason, people, I think, hear tongue
You just gotta
and don't want to eat
You gotta
it.
peel that tongue before, no one's
Yes.
watching, right? And then
Yes.
slice it down. And then it's just like
Then it's just steak.
braised beef.
It, honestly,
Yeah.
I've had tongue in like the last couple months. It reminds me of if Spam was a real meat.
Really?
It's got that
Was it
texture.
pickled? Did you have it pickled or something?
It was braised, but when they sear it, it's got
Sear
like
it?
this. Okay, so they braised it first.
Yeah.
And then they seared it on like a grill.
Like they
so
cut
it had
it
some
into
caram-
chunks and then
yes. So sear the whole tongue. I'm sorry. Braise the whole tongue,
Uh-huh.
skin off and all, and then sliced it in what looked like lobes of foie gras.
Okay.
Like discs, right? And after they sear it, it was just like caramelized on the outside. It tasted like it was almost pan-seared because it
Okay.
had the texture on the outside.
Sure.
But then it's so tender on the inside.
It's
'cause
very
braised.
tender, very stringy.
And
like
it's got like a little spamminess to it. Like the
Interesting.
guy who invented
They must
spam
have-
wanted.
They must have been like marinated or brined in something. I
I'm
feel
sure it
like,
was.
You know,
I'm sure it was.
I've only ever had it like kind of cold I've had it lots of ways, but like with a sauce grabiche.
I think
You know?
right away Mexican tacos
Sure.
is what I think of.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, so we're not at tongue yet.
We're not
though.
at tongue yet. Tongue's for a
No.
later date. I'll have to sneak
Right,
that one
it's
by.
for the second
I
or third
chose
date.
something that would be
is
a little
tongue.
easier to
All right.
figure out. So there was the oxtail.
Let me
Is
ask you.
there?
I did have a question about this.
Sure.
Why do we call it oxtail if it's not an oxtail? Just looks like one,
I guess it's
right? Because
an
that's
ox and-
cowtail.
Is an ox a
That's a
different?
cow tail. No, it's a
Is an ox a cow?
steer tail. Steer tail.
Maybe. I don't know if it was a male
It
cow or
must be.
female cow.
I think that's how it usually works.
Okay.
The
Well,
dairy
so,
cows
coup de boeuf.
are for burgers because they get old. Those poor things.
Gotcha.
After having a bunch of babies, and then the steers, dude. Imagine like you're not good enough. You're not good enough to mate all day. You got like one bull who's like the shit. He like lives the best life. Then all the other ones, dude, got to go in a line like, we're cutting. Get out of here. We're going to cut your balls off and make you steak. So guaranteed he was a steer.
Okay. I was just happy that I got half a cow and I got the tail. I'm like, must be my lucky day.
Wait, was it a full
it was
tail?
a full tail. It wasn't
So
like a half a tail.
Somebody got chipped a half a tail.
That's right.
Sweet.
That's right. Maybe because they also asked, it was like, would you like the offal? Or I guess sometimes they just like,
Oh, because some people may not want.
right. They don't want all that stuff. I said, yeah, back it up.
Got
Give
it.
to me.
Cool.
So maybe they give me a solid, you know?
Yeah.
Because I guess you can also figure out how much of it you want ground. And a lot of people probably just get like a lot ground, you know?
I feel like an oxtail
for
burger
chili or
would be
something.
really good.
Oxtail burger. You can't make an oxtail burger.
Not like, but think about it, all the gelatinous meat. It's got like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that ground up.
Somebody's gone to the dispensary. Oxtail burgers.
I'm gonna make some. You can't have any.
Let's
then.
try it. So anyway, I'm looking at this crock pot. I'm looking at the oxtail. I'm like, today's the day. There's nobody around yet. I can like take it out. No one asks what it is before it's cooked. You know, I can like,
Okay.
because it looks like a tail. It doesn't look like an ossobuco or something.
How big
You know
is
what I
this
mean?
thing?
3.5 feet.
3.5 feet?
Maybe I had that. It was probably this long. Well, it's hard because it's in pieces.
That's
right?
like a cat size. That's like a whole cat of tail.
That's 1.5 feet. Sorry.
2 foot, 2 feet.
Okay, 2 feet-ish.
Dude, that's a big ass tail.
Is it? Well, again,
Think
it was,
about
it
it.
was cut in like 3 or 4 inch chunks, so it
I've
wasn't.
had-
It wasn't like laid out.
I've
you know?
pet dogs that were half that size.
But I don't doubt it. So I put it in the crock pot.
Okay.
I had some like.
You thawed out, of course. Are you pre-searing,
yeah, of
or are you
course.
just right in the pot?
Well, I didn't want anybody to see it,
So
I was
it had to
trying
get
be
in there
careful.
right away.
It had to get in, but I have a crock pot that you can put on high and sear in there, so at least it's
Got
kind of
it.
covered.
Yeah.
So I did that. Some onions, some garlic, some.
How
bay.
often have you guys ever cooked anything where you had to hide it as soon as possible?
I don't even know if I had to, but you know, it just.
No, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean.
Listen,
right?
you have a 5-year-old running, a soon-to-be 5-year-old
He
running
wouldn't
around.
mind, right?
If I could imagine, I could see like a Flintstones Bam Bam thing where
Sure.
like the tail all of a sudden gets pulled off the table and
Whacked
all right.
around.
Yeah, whacked around. So
So
the
I
tail's
braise
in
it.
there.
The tail's in there.
What'd you use?
Onions, garlic. It was kind of a fast operation because I
That's
just
okay.
decided I didn't like have a lot of prep, so I just
Yeah.
had some like carrots from the farm stand and
Oof.
right. Oof.
Dude, it's the little things that make something real exciting.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Aromatics, you know, and just let
Yeah.
it go for like a good 6 hours, like a good
Wow.
6 hours in there. Just cool
Is
that
there
out.
multiple settings on this thing, or is this one?
Just like low, medium, high. And
Okay.
I just put it on high and just let it go.
I don't think I've ever owned a stock. What do
I
they
feel like it would be your jam. I feel like
Really, dude?
Yeah. You're thinking of like the burnt orange 1950s one. You know, they.
I mean,
make
that's
them a
what
little
everybody's
fancier.
thinking of. So,
This is like a stainless steel, nice thing. You can see
is
in
it
there.
black? Is it white?
Stainless steel.
Oh, it's
But it's got an
silver.
insert that's like a Teflon coated type of a thing. It's large. It's pretty large. So you
Okay.
could, like, yeah.
So you didn't have to chop your tail in half. You could just throw your tail right in.
Well, it was already cut into chunks. That's why I couldn't
Okay.
tell the whole.
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah,
whole
I was,
leg.
I was thinking that if you had,
But there were a few
big
that were
ass fucking
there,
tail.
There were a
of
few
course you had-
segments that weren't all cut all the way through, so it looked like this weird alien vertebrae,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So got that seared-ish, right? And put it in, let it go.
Okay.
Just left it covered, and then I didn't actually prepare it till like a day or two later. I just put it in the fridge after that.
Oh, so you let this thing braise for a bunch of hours.
Yeah.
And had no intention of using it that day.
You know what? If you're gonna braise something,
You might as
the
well.
best way to go is you're a day ahead at the minimum.
Okay.
You know, because if you're braising, I feel like it just, for one, it just doesn't taste the same. It doesn't taste as good. It needs to cool in that liquid and be reheated in it. And it just has to,
Listen, I know what you're talking
Just
about.
has to mellow out a little bit.
Yeah.
Not mellow out, but
Has to melt
has
into
to chill
itself.
out. Right, exactly. The
Yeah.
flavors all have to kind of come together, and like reheated braised
Yeah.
stuff. Reheated sounds like leftovers, but it's not. It's just
I know what you mean.
preparing it to serve. I
Yeah.
think is the best way to go. Like in the restaurant, also Buco Saturdays we used to do because it's an easy thing to serve up quickly
Sure.
when
Yep.
you're getting crushed. So
Yeah.
we'd always cook that the day ahead.
Right.
So it's
Braised
just
items
ready.
are fantastic.
Yeah.
And tis the season.
Yep.
Tis the season. All right.
Which is why, yeah. So it's getting cooler and all that kind of jazz. So then I picked it up. I waited till I was alone again
Okay.
and took the meat off the bones
I love when stories start like that.
and
I
separated
waited
it
till I was alone again and started picking the meat.
and got rid of the bones because they look kind of wonky. They're like
They
the
look
spinal
like
column.
knuckles.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks
Like alligator knuckles or some shit.
Put those away, and I was left with more meat than I thought, honestly.
Good.
From this, so I was happy with that.
Did you save the liquid? Did you have like
Of
a
course.
and what was it like a jus? Did you put stock in there, or was it like red wine? Or
Oh, did I put stock? No, I just used some. We had a quarter bottle of wine that'd been open for a few days.
that's the bet? Yeah.
Yeah, I used that,
Yeah.
and I don't think I had any stock. It was just its own. And when you're in crock pot cooking,
Yeah.
you don't like fill it up. The liquid doesn't go anywhere, so you just
Oh.
leave a little bit in there.
I didn't
like
know
probably
this.
halfway up, type of thing.
Oh, all right. So you
Right.
won't lose any liquid. I guess that makes
No,
sense.
you know.
Okay.
So
So is it kind of steaming it in a way
what's braising?
in its own juices?
It's what braising is.
I didn't know that. All
Yeah.
right. See,
It's braising.
is steaming in its own? Yeah.
Well, it's braising is like a combination cooking method where you're kind of simmering and steaming at the same time.
I like that.
And then if you remove the foil or whatever you have on top, you're getting a little bit of
Reduction,
caramelization,
right?
reduction,
Okay.
which you do kind of at the end of the cooking process.
So what did you do with said shredded tail?
I had some more of those carrots. Give me the ooh.
Ooh.
And I sauteed those up with some onion and garlic and whatever.
Okay.
I was around, onion and garlic and
Yeah.
a little butter, a little olive oil, kind of,
Yeah. All right.
autumnal type
Do
of
you
thing.
do you feel like the addition of olive oil to butter or vice versa actually does help in your searing or in your
No.
cooking? Like, or do you like the flavor of having both?
I think I like the flavor of. I think when I'm cutting back on not wanting it too buttery, I'll put a little olive oil in there.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely is a flavor component,
Sure,
but
it's not as rich.
I remember in culinary school we'd do that. We'd sear fish in one of these kitchens. It was a fish kitchen in olive oil and butter, and I never really understood why. But I keep doing it to try to figure it out. But I'm still not sure why we did that. Well, the butter will brown and help give color to the fish, especially like a floured piece of fish. Over that time, because once the butter's brown, the fish is probably cooked.
I love
So
a
it
little
kinda
brown
comes out
butter
that
on
way?
some fish.
Well, yeah, of course. But so, for whatever reason, I did both.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll start caramelizing those veg with the olive oil, and
And
then
then
add butter at the end, so that by the time the butter starts to brown, it's finished. But that's like a timing thing you got to work with. And then I just picked the meat and folded it in and
To this, yeah.
served it. I had it for a few days. So once I did it in pasta, once I just did kind of like a ragu over mashed sweet potato.
Oh my
You
goodness!
wouldn't. The empty plate. It was like
Really?
demolished. It was gone.
Wow.
Loved it.
What did-
Loved it.
So what did everybody think this was? Just some like braised brisket?
Yeah, I just said it was like a braised short rib or something like that. But I think I was vague, purposefully vague, knowing they wouldn't guess. Oh, this is oxtail, but it's braised beef from that cow that I got.
I feel like there is a level of satisfaction from a good braised dish that is hard to replicate. Like if you eat a lot of braised meat, it does get rich and like tiring sometimes. But when you haven't had braised for a while,
It's like sometimes I'll over reduce the sauce going with it. Remember how big short ribs were in Philly when we were living there? There was
Yeah.
it was every menu had short ribs on it.
yeah,
Every single one.
it was
all the time.
It was the mac and
all
cheese
year
of its
round.
time.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's
I don't-
true.
Is that still happening?
I don't know. I'm sure that Reno might have gone through a little short rib
I don't know if
phase.
it was as intense as like the
Philly definitely
the
went through a
Philadelphia
short rib thing.
braised phase. But if you can over reduce that sauce over like too much red wine reduction, too much tackiness in that sauce, and that can kind of kill it. or make it
People seem to love the
richer than it
tacky
needs
sauces,
to be.
dude. I feel like it's like a thing.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
I like
Do
it.
you?
I like a really reduced sauce.
Really reduced.
Yeah, like if it's like glue,
That's
it's
your
so
favorite?
rich. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm often finding myself when the sauces are too thin, trying to figure out
I'm
how
not
to
saying
like.
too thin. I'm saying just right.
Well,
know?
right? Yeah.
Just right.
Listen, not all of us are gonna. I employ all the techniques I have. The only one that works lately for me with sauce is just a bunch of stock, a bunch of wine, reduce that shit as much as I can before it, and then add some cold butter at the end and move it around.
Then you have butter. It lightens it up, but it's that protein in the stock that if that's too much, that's where that tackiness comes from. So you could have like a nicely reduced sauce, but that tackiness comes from.
So the patented caramelized rice on the bottom of paella,
Yeah.
if it's a high
Patented?
collagen stock, like
Would you call it patented?
the
Oh, okay.
the classic,
Got it. Like
yeah.
it's the socarat.
I don't know what it's
Is
honestly
that what it's called? Socarat? No.
Might be. That might be the Catalan word for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, let's just say, I don't know. I really don't know. So I don't want to say yes or no. I'm not a paella expert. I'm far from it.
Yeah.
And I accept that. I'm not I feel like people assume Spaniards all know about paella. But the more I research paella, the more I realize I never knew about paella. But
Because you're from New Jersey.
I digress. No, it's the Basque thing. I'm telling you.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So then
I do
everybody
paella
ate.
every year, usually.
What's that?
I'd try a paella every year.
All right. So listen, we got 2 articles of homework.
Yes.
One is we're going to figure out how to make this tongue and sneak it by all your loved ones.
Sure.
Right? And then 2,
Tongue's not as big of a. I could keep that for myself, but I'll try.
oh, now you can
Yeah.
eat it all yourself?
Well, it's not as big. as
They're
you think.
pretty big, dude, I thought.
This is just. The cow wasn't that big.
It was a baby
It's-
tongue.
It was
A
what was
little
that?
baby tongue. All right. So, so we got to do that, the tongue, and then we've got to do paella, but we got to research what real paella is.
Yeah, I mean,
'cause
you
there's
told
a
me on one of those last
lot of
podcasts
rules.
that there are
There's a
no.
lot of rules.
There ain't no
It
rules.
feels like every single thing we're not supposed to do, we do. Again, I'm only lumping the we in because I've been a part of the travesties that are paella done incorrectly. And anyway,
I'm having a hard time getting. I always second guess. It's just one of those things you have to do frequently enough to have
Yes.
your ratios right. I always like
Totally.
freak out. I'm like, I didn't put enough stock. I got to put more stock,
I
and
think
then it
it's
kind
like
of
3 to
overcooks the
1,
rice.
dude. On a
Depends on the
ripping
rice. Could be
fire.
4. It could be 4 to 1. Like with the bomba rice.
Got it.
Calaspar
and Bomba are the ones I
So
know.
those have different
Ratios?
ratios.
Of course
Yeah,
they
I
do.
can't pull them out of my head, but I think it's like 4 to 1 or whatever.
Huh.
Or 3 to 1. It's more than just your standard like 2 to 1 rice.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm a 1 to 1 kind of guy.
For
For
what?
rice. For just steamed rice. I'm a 1 to 1
Well, it
kind of
depends
guy.
on the rice. That's what I'm saying.
Well, jasmine. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
A jasmine.
Uncle
I'm a
Ben's.
jasmine 1 to 1
Okay. Gotcha.
after the wash.
After the wash.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just getting that thickness down, right? It's got to be like a nice thin. It's not
You
necessarily
mean a paella?
a paella. What
A
are we
paella.
talking about?
Yeah. Paella. Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily a rice dish,
Right. It's
right?
It's kind of
It's
like,
like-
a
The rice kind of holds it all together.
yeah.
And there's rice in the dish.
It's rice.
but
is
it's
it,
not a
is it
rice
sauce
dish.
Maybe it's a rice sauce.
It's not as saucy as that, but
It's a rice ragu.
I mean, what is it like? If it's an inch thick across, not even an inch thick with rice. It's like
No.
2 grains of rice thick. Is like
It's
the
I
thing you're
think I
supposed to
think the most classic ones it's like less than a 1/4 inch
Gotcha.
of rice all the way
Yeah,
through.
makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like it's literally a spoon.
Right.
A spoonful, which means that in every spoonful you're getting this reduced stock. Like that is that I guess it is socarat. But that is the delicious kind of chewy, savory.
I have a hard time. I haven't really gotten that part down because I
Okay.
feel like it must be the starch from the rice comes out and gets on the bottom of the pan without burning it. Because I usually do it over a fire,
Right.
like live coals. So it's
Right.
been hard to regulate that temperature.
I saw you working
properly.
in Argentina, bro. I feel like you're very comfortable with the fire.
You just got to do it it's hard to just, it's paella day after you haven't worked on a fire for 3 months, and then it's like making it happen.
There's something about
you gotta rush things. Then there's people around. You gotta second guess yourself.
You Reno people, though, I feel like all of you know how to wield a fire.
Really?
Yeah, it's something rugged about y'all. You have a little like, I could survive in the woods for the next 5 days. I feel like all of you are packed for like doom. Every one of you has like 6 cans of tuna ready to go at any one time.
This is true.
Is this a Reno thing? Is this a Nevada thing?
It's just about a man thing, I think.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it all the city folk just never really have to worry about this stuff?
None of your city folk.
I mean, dude, like I grew up walking
Camden,
around
New
most
Jersey.
places.
Huh? Right?
Yeah, walking around most places. I think the first time I ever went, I didn't even know what a sleeping bag was until maybe like 3rd grade. And my friend invited me to go camping.
The first time we went camping out here in the Black Rock.
Oh, that was...
you showed up in shorts. It was snowing.
No, it wasn't snowing. It wasn't snowing. It was like 90 degrees, bro.
No.
You're like, we're going out to the desert. Well, it was hot. It was very hot.
Until
I had
until
shorts
the sun went down.
Until the sun went down.
Yeah.
And when the sun goes down,
I think
ladies and
snowing.
gentlemen,
Wasn't
if you've never hung out on a desert, on a plateau, this is the playa.
Mm-hmm.
Pyramid. What do you guys call it? Pyramid? No, that's not it. It's close to Pyramid Lake.
Yeah.
But what is that area called?
Black Rock Desert.
The Black Rock Desert.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was... So the first time I ever met Tony's family...
Was that the first time?
This was the first time.
Because we were working on a concept that's here in Reno.
That's right.
Before we started anything shoebox, before we got into tech at all.
Yes.
I think we were still, must have been the beginning. We're still doing it. I think we were started the project.
We were starting shoebox?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I know so.
We were still hopeful.
But we worked on a concept here called Comro.
Yes, there was, you had a friend, you got connected through your network to some people who were redoing the Fitzgerald Casino, right? Old Fitz?
Yep.
What's it called?
The Fitzgerald, yeah.
The Fitzgerald. And so when we landed in Reno, it was really my first real slice of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know why it's called the Wild West. It definitely feels like anytime I walk, let me just call out. We are at Abbey West Studios, right? And we're in this, Reno's got a bunch of interesting parts to it. It's got parts where, like down by the casinos, you feel like at any moment, and you can walk outside of a casino and like there's zombies out there.
Well, there's also
you just have no idea
empty
who's coming for
casinos,
you.
right?
Oh man,
yeah.
It's an interesting. It's like I don't know, like the opening scene of a movie. You're like in Reno downtown, and you're like, who's coming to eat me? You know what I mean? Anyway, so when we came down to Reno, I did love the idea that they were trying to rehab the hotel, the old casino that closed down, to make it more like an outdoorsy theme. There's a lot of outdoorsy people in this state. You guys are all, I feel like, but this leads to the fact that this experience was my first time meeting real Nevadans. Mm-hmm. Is that what you call yourselves?
Nevadans, yeah.
Real Nevadans, right? And so they're like, yeah, let's go camping. We're going to have a great time. And
some fireworks.
There was all kinds of stuff. There was bacon bombs. Yeah. There was all kinds of... What's a bacon bomb, Tony? For all those humans out there who have never...
From the bacons. Bacon.
Yep. So you're saving some fat.
I'm going to remiss... It's been a while since... I forget how you actually make it. And you just put over the fire until it blows up? Was that it? Mm-hmm. Was some other step?
Well, it was in cans as far as I remember. It was like old Coca-Cola cans or something.
Yeah, it was in some kind of like baked bean can or something like that.
Yes. And then
there must have been another step. It wasn't that dangerous. Was it that dangerous?
I think it was that dangerous, my friend.
Huh.
I was coming straight from Philadelphia. Like the most nature I had seen probably that month might have been like a squirrel trying to eat like old chicken wings out of my trash. Like that was like a yoked up squirrel that was full of protein. You know what I mean? No, you don't. So So that was like the most wildlife I had gotten. And then I got to here, and I don't think I saw a real bathroom for like 4 days. Like we landed.
It was one night.
It felt like 4. Okay. We got there, right? We go out into the desert. Now, I had never hung out in a desert before. I don't know if anybody can recall the first time they went out on the desert.
I could tell
but
from
this
your
was
cargo
my
shorts.
first time.
And
Well, nobody thought it was like, should tell me like, yo, bring pants. I think you guys were enjoying the Philadelphian showing up in, Black Rock
beachwear.
desert. Yes. Yeah. So we hung out, and then your nieces and nephews were like little kids at this point. And it felt like they were the leading stars in Mad Max, dude. They were fucking rolling around in the dirt and the dust, had like fucking cars and stuff.
They're like motorcycles?
They had like little, like, what are they called on the they had all kinds of stuff. Mopeds.
It's fun out there.
It is fun out there, but it's just like,
I can't remember what we
I'm
ate.
like, you guys are wild. I was thinking to myself, like, this is wild. Like little kids, like out on the desert. I remember not being able to see one of them.
It's flat.
And you guys are just like drinking beer and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is freedom. This is America, right? I was like afraid to smoke cigarettes in certain parts of Philly. People yell at you. And there, it's just like, let's blow up some bacon bombs. So that night, so you're enjoying yourself. The sun's out. I remember getting a tan or something. And then as soon as the sun just drapes itself and slowly shimmies behind the mountain, it's like all of a sudden it is a different death zone.
Yeah. Just switch flips.
Went from like an occasional bird flying by and like pleasantries with the clouds to like desolate, dark, cold.
We had fireworks.
I'm not saying there wasn't some fun to be had, but we weren't prepared. I was not prepared. You guys were prepared.
I think that's when, speaking of Spam, my sister used to carry that around in her trailer, and she would make, I think we had Spam omelets.
Spomlets?
Spomlets for breakfast. And I hadn't had Spam in forever.
Oh, so did it bring you back?
To forever ago?
Yes.
Like, I hadn't had it in a long time, but...
When was the last time you had Spam?
I think it was then.
It was then.
But it's just spiced ham, right? That's what it means. It's just a good camping food.
Oh, Spam.
Spam. That's what it means, right? Spiced ham.
I remember you telling me that before.
Yeah. It's just like a hot dog, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in a can.
Right.
It's Taylor pork roll.
There you go.
In a can.
But Taylor pork roll is a little scarier, I think.
That's not true.
It's way like fattier. So it's got that pale pink.
You guys ever had
color
pork
to it.
roll?
They don't allow it outside of New Jersey. It's not allowed to be sold outside of New
Philadelphia
Jersey.
too.
Maybe a little bit in North Jersey.
It's this log of super salted, congealed pork product. And, some people will say it's the asses and lips of a pig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make sure you use it all. And then they press it into what looks like bologna.
Yeah.
Right? It looks like bologna, but don't you dare eat that without cooking it. Because it's probably... I've never tried that.
To have it raw? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's allowed.
I think it is. I think it's already gonna fuck you up.
It's cooked.
You're just
It's
gonna
a cooked
cook whatever's
product,
fucking
right?
you up. Yeah.
But
It's got that. The flavor is so salty and so intense.
it's like a
It's
bacon.
past umami. It's like whoa, mommy. Like I can taste it right now. It's got that tang. I don't know.
That tang.
Yeah. Pork
Sounds
roll has
refreshing.
that. What tang the orange drink is to orange juice, I feel that pork roll is to ham.
Do you, when you go to New Jersey, is that something you always get?
No.
No. It's never again.
No. I'll eat it every once in a while when I'm feeling nostalgic. The best part about it is
Breakfast usually, right? It's a breakfast thing.
Or hammered. In order.
Is it even available like at late nights, I guess is my question.
Yeah.
You
Don't make
get
it happen.
all year long. Okay.
Don't make it happen. So you have this log, Let's call it a hot dog and bologna had a baby, but you have to cook it. And then you slice it in varying thicknesses, depending on how wild you want to get. But in order for it to actually sear and caramelize on both sides, you have to slice it down the middle. Like it looks like a Pac-Man when you cook it. Because if you don't do that, it'll curl. It does the bubble up.
Right, yeah.
And then you don't get the caramelization, which is necessary in order to even eat this thing. But anyway.
Sounds amazing.
It's actually good.
I know.
But it does.
I think I've had it. We used to have it like before we go to Giants games with my boss or something. They'd like.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they put ketchup on it. Like
Listen.
on the breakfast sandwich kind of thing. It'd be like egg, Taylor pork, ham roll.
Yep. Taylor.
Spice thing.
Pork roll, egg and cheese is a classic on a Kaiser roll.
But that's like a New York thing to put ketchup on like those breakfast rolls.
You know, I've done it.
They always ask.
I don't want to say I'm
It's not by
proud
default,
of it,
but
I've
sweet.
done it.
Yeah.
And this is the importance of the salt. Because if you get a proper pork roll, egg and cheese, right? It always comes on a Kaiser roll.
Yeah.
And it's always been wrapped in aluminum foil for a moment. Like a portion of time you're not quite sure.
I have a feeling
could have been an hour.
Going to have a lot to
could have
say
been
on this
6
episode.
hours.
Just
but either
sitting there.
way, it's become like a hot pocket of like, you know what I mean?
I do miss a good breakfast sandwich. That like New York deli breakfast sandwich, they definitely know how to do it. And
do they do the same thing they do in Philly, at your breakfast establishments in New York?
What do you mean?
No matter what you get, as soon as you're finished, as long as it's a sandwich, they go salt, pepper, ketchup.
Yep, salt, pepper, ketchup.
And it's just in such a, it's so fluid. It's like a
salt, pepper, ketchup.
Yeah. That should be a song. Salt, pepper, ketchup. That should be a song. So, but you never did the ketchup? Are you an anti-ketchup?
If someone was going to pick them up, they'd just get like ketchup on half or ketchup on all of them. You know, they didn't know it like taking orders for all the dudes in the bus or whatever.
Because we were ketchup packet people.
Why wouldn't you just get it right on top?
Well, because
you didn't trust them to put the right amount of ketchup on it?
Well, if you're asking me such an intimate question, then the answer is absolutely yes. I don't trust anybody with my ketchup. I do trust McDonald's with my mustard, though.
Weird.
Well, and your shirt but like, do you ever notice how, like, I like to do a replication of the Joker burger, of like the clown burger, the classic McDonald's. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like the perfect burger. The burger, right? The nice charred burger. Cheese, perhaps. That's your choice. And then pickle, onion, slightly chopped white onion, and then I don't know how long the of ketchup is, but it's a solid full circle. And then the mustard. You must be so judicious.
I'm usually like, I'm either ketchup or mustard, depending on the way I'm going.
You won't go both?
I don't do both. Not a burger? No, not really.
Okay, so
I rarely do ketchup on most things, honestly.
Okay, and
ketchup is like for fries for me.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is you need the salt. That was the whole point of the salt, pepper, ketchup.
Gotcha.
You need that salt with the ketchup. And if you're feeling exotic, you can do a little, back and forth on the black and pepper. You know what I mean? On the black pepper.
I just don't want to open that up with packets. Like after, I just want it done, wrapped in the foil.
Part of the magic for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Part of the magic is like, you know what I mean?
You're a control freak.
You're crafting your bites. I don't know. I like it.
Right on. Where's dinner tonight? Where are we going tonight? It's my last night in Reno. We already went to.
It's my last night too.
It's like a favorite of mine to go to Pho when I'm here.
Pho was good.
It was good.
Pho was excellent.
Pho 7-7.
Not a Vietnamese person in sight today.
No,
I was looking.
It was not that busy today.
No. I'm not talking about guests. I did see some Asian guests. I heard some Mandarin being spoken in the dining room.
You did?
I'm saying
not
that's
a Vietnamese
person.
Culture. Mandarin is not.
It's Asian.
Okay.
It's gotcha. Asian. We're in a gaming town. There's, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
They're friends. Asians and gambling like each other a lot. But so when we were there, I just noticed I didn't see any Vietnamese people in the place.
What is that? You didn't look in the kitchen?
Well, maybe better said, shout out to all the Latinos out there making everything for all of us.
That's true.
When it comes to food.
That's true.
Because where would we be right now? But it was delicious. We had a great meal. Look, honestly, you walk into, let's say you walk into a Russian restaurant, right? I've never actually eaten at one, but walk into a Russian restaurant.
I think you'd like a Russian restaurant.
Yeah?
Right, because it's generally, I mean, you can have restaurants with the big menus and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of times it'll be like your standard, like a party restaurant. There's a lot of dancing involved usually, and there's like a buffet table, basically.
Okay.
So it's kind of standard. There's always like
you've told me
sauteed mushrooms and shashlik.
It's like
what? Kebabs,
what did you just say there? Shashlik?
Shashlik.
What is a shashlik?
It's a kebab.
What kind of kebabs are we talking about? Are they spiced? Are we on the are we going Arabic? Are we going Greek?
I mean, there's like a whisper of that kind of thing in there, but
a little
it's
yeah.
Like
somebody who
Russia's
ate cumin earlier.
Continent. It could involve a lot of different kind of Asian.
It's interesting that all the different places that come together.
Yeah.
Next to Russia.
Dips and stuff. It's good.
What kind of dips? You can't just glaze over something like that.
I have to.
Like we talking creme fraiche?
I don't remember creme fraiche.
Or like some beet stuff?
Definitely beet things, without a doubt.
Beet things.
Definitely lots of mushrooms, which I was surprised for some reason that's a big part of Russian cuisine.
That makes sense.
Kotlietis, which are these like kind of chicken patties, like little hamburger type things.
Interesting.
But oval shaped.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the style of eating, I was going to say, there's certainly like restaurants that you order whatever, a la carte, I would say. Yeah. But then I feel like standard is like if you go to a wedding or a party or many restaurants, they'll just have a buffet table, then just start bringing stuff out.
I like that.
No order, no anything, just here's the meal for the ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it comes in waves? Or is it all like ready for you?
There's like some things are set up there before, like when you show up.
Okay.
It's there. Just like take off the cloches or something.
You know, in Spain, there's a big thing called ensaladilla rusa. It's potato salad. It's essentially.
I just had this as well. And oh my gosh.
But it's ensaladilla rusa means Russian salad.
Of course. It's like the potato salad with the
I feel like there's eggs and peas.
Eggs.
Mayonnaise.
It's potato salad, but the potato's a little bit more like mashed.
Well, it's more mashed.
Okay. It's salad Oscar. Right?
Salad
That's
Oscar.
what it is in Russia.
What?
Yeah. And it's more diced potato and peas and eggs. It's got more of a diced texture. Okay. But then I was just at a dinner that it was Iranian. And they had something similar. They called it I got to remember the name. But it was the same thing you just said.
Okay.
Or it was kind of a mashed potato with peas and chicken was in it. And eggs. But it was very good.
I mean, I was just thinking how chicken and eggs, it's like the only animal that makes it onto the party both ways.
I think we can think of more if we put our minds to it.
Yeah, cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
There you go. That was fast. Smoked salmon, roe.
So let's say you walk into Russian restaurant, Oscars. Oscars, Russian Delights. If you walk in, do you feel like you want to see a Russian or two? Or do you not need it for it to feel right? The only reason I bring this up is because I was a little bit hesitant.
We didn't see in the kitchen. You see in the kitchen?
We walked into Pho 777.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any Vietnamese people the entire experience. And I was a little bit nervous. It was fantastic. But I was a little bit nervous.
Okay.
If we walked into a Russian restaurant and there was not one Russian, I would feel a little nervous. It doesn't mean it won't be good. You know what I mean? But you're entrusting.
I'm sure the Russians import their cooks from somewhere else too. They're probably like...
They probably.
Yeah. All right.
They probably.
Cool. Well, awesome. We're going to go out again tonight. It's our last night in Reno.
Yeah, where are we going? We're going to a Mexican restaurant
Mexican restaurant. I can't wait.
Maybe they'll have Vietnamese cooks.
We'll report back on that note. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to OverSeasoned.
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 Sweet. Overseasoned.
Underseasoned.
OverSeasoned podcast was brought to you by Over Easy Office, outsourced bookkeeping solution.